end up in him getting caught by the Sig if he does go with that approach method. But we will see how it goes.
First weapon going the way M for Mini. He grabs the lance, but hermisen just happy to fight unarmed until finding a spear himself. Ooh, there it is, beating out that aerial approach, that snake just angling downwards.
A lot of down Sigs just coming out constantly from hermisen. No stranger to that. I mean, I think the only other player we see so many Sigs come out of is Isidru, and that's on the NA side of things.
Oh, yeah. He's showing it to M for Mini, saying, hey, show me you can figure out a way around this. Until then, I'm going to keep using it. This is my answer.
You could say he's saying, show me your moves.
Show me your moves. I mean, that's how you condition, right? Hermisen's setting up the early part of the conditioning. You need to get them to expect one option before you can start turning in that mix-up.
hermisen with the weapon throw. Wow, and he did not dodge it. Maybe he did not have the dodge. Maybe he wasn't expecting that to quite hit off on the side. Either way, it is going to end up in a KO onto M for Mini, and hermisen holding on to that map, moving a lot faster, like kind of what we saw at the end of the hermisen Viper game, where he really picked up his tempo and made it difficult for his opponent to approach. And now you see M for Mini really hesitating on his approach vectors, not really sure how to get in on top of hermisen.
Yeah, he just wants to get a moment to kind of stabilize himself, find his approach with the axe. I mean, he's got a little bit of the range advantage. He definitely has the speed advantage as Uldrim over Nye, but hermisen is just in there with these Katars.
hermisen almost got M for Mini stuck into one of those new age guitar loops, and I keep calling them new age, even though like it's kind of become standardized now. But like to me, guitar loops is the classic, you know, down air, whatever. Anyway, hermisen getting a lot of success on M for Mini, and M for Mini is having a really tough time dealing with this right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're both in the red, but hermisen has that full stock lead. M for Mini needs to find a KO. Oh, that's going to be it. M for Mini charging that out. hermisen just able to dive kick him out, working on a 3 stock.
As a bit of a spear player myself, I love seeing when people use that reverse down air off the map, because you get that turnaround down air. It gets that reverse vector where it pushes them farther away from the map, and knowing that to get that instead of just do the normal down air, maybe pop them closer to the wall, it really shows you the difference between that, like those people who know how to play spear and people who are just playing it for the meta pick.
M for Mini loving that down axe signature. That's what he usually looks for the KOs, and he really needs one right now.
hermisen's movement has been just accelerating and progressing in such a fantastic manner. You see him dancing around all these attacks that M for Mini is throwing out at these close ranges. And we've seen hermisen do mostly these spaced out plays where he's just trying to stick back, catch his opponent in something, and then go in for a reactive follow-up. But hermisen's become so much faster that it's just, I mean, people don't really know how to approach it.
Right, but M for Mini has kind of found a way where he didn't need to approach it. He was guarding those weapons, starving hermisen, able to push him just into the orange off of a couple neutral lights.
What I really want to see from hermisen is the catch M for Mini in a spot dodge, go for the Qatar neutral sig. It's been so long since I've seen that hit. I just want to see it hit again. But maybe that's being a little biased on my part, but who cares? We got M for Mini making his approach back into the stage. He's got hermisen in the red already, and he needs that KO to keep himself in this game. That down sig still not going to do it, though. The high defense on that Queen Nye pick is going to keep that survival viable, and we have the two approaches, one on top of each other, and they're not going to find that KO.
That's going to do it. M for Mini.
Yep.
He's gotten 2 stocks down off of hermisen while holding on to his final.
And this is something we've seen from M for Mini quite often. He has done this many times in the past, where he's been in his last stock just trying to read out, see what his opponent does, and then he just goes and goes and goes, and you wonder how long he can survive in that last stock, and then he just wins the game. So maybe we'll see that happen right here, but this is classic M for Mini.
He's going to have to play this stock absolutely perfectly.
And against the Queen Eye, anything can result in a KO, so he's got to be incredibly careful.
Staying just over that recovery. Yes, punish the signature. Let's go, M for Mini. Oh no, down off the side. He's still there. Oh, the dive kick's going to close it out clean from hermisen.
Having a lot of trouble dealing with M for Mini's stock extension, but manages to close it out in the end. It's always good to see that they can at least close that out, because if they have that much trouble, they have something wrong that they have to fix and adapt to. And finishing that off, he had that lead. That is very dangerous moving into game number 2, though, because if hermisen has that kind of pressure in one stock that he can pull out at the tip of a hat, then if he gets a lead in this game, it just makes the game entirely that much harder for hermisen.
I mean, that's just the tournament experience and the mindset of a champion showing through, right?
Yeah,
He's got that clutch factor. He can go for those reverse 3 stocks. As great as hermisen's opening was, he did not maintain that gap all the way through the match.
hermisen getting the map control with the axe, looking for a little bit of startup here. Gets him off stage, looks for the down air opportunities, almost gets that second down air into a consistent early Gimp potential, but that is not going to come to fruition, unfortunately, and hermisen making his way back on the stage with the guitars, looking for a little bit more damage, not going for the neutral air is disruption, but instead looking for some side airs for a little bit more pushing power.
I mean, he's finding plenty of pushing power going on with those down signatures from Nye, just keeping him to the outside.
Around the outside, around the outside. hermisen now going around the outside with the recovery. And this is going to be him trying to get back as hermisen gets a nice reversal play on that edge. And hermisen picking up the guitars, and there it is.
That'll do it. Just recovery off the side. I mean, both of them armed up so quickly, you could almost not tell which weapons they were about to grab. hermisen just with the perfect answer.
I mean, the KO was so quick from hermisen that if you blinked, you would have thought that he got the KO with the neutral light.
Oh, yeah. Now he's got a lot of room to build this damage gap as long as he can avoid hermisen's axe attacks.
You can see the concentration. They don't know exactly how to approach each other because they've been adapting this whole time. They've been playing that spacing game, instantly converting into fast momentum on top of each other, but they have to wait for that switch because whoever explodes first, they either put themselves at risk or they find that success, but it's one or the other. There's no middle ground. There's no trade at that point, so they have to be careful, which is why you see them kind of sit back. They distance each other out, jump around a little, look for that one specific approach moment.
Man, but hermisen finding these approaches, you know, hermisen took the lead for a while there, but hermisen just really tying this up.
hermisen trying to make an approach here with the spear, the side air, getting a little bit of that spacing, double down sig as well. That serpent strike coming out from hermisen as he tries to keep hermisen just spaced away a little bit because that axe is a very devastating weapon that has those those string potentials on the grounded side of things and that side air. So devastating if you get caught by it. Recovery gonna get dodged through. hermisen with the punishment, looking for a side air. The down sig into the recovery. No, doesn't go for the option.
Had the bounce off the island, he wanted the consistent play, the safe play. He went for that weapon starve. And hermisen does finally find his own lance. Now he just needs to put his weapons to use. He's turned it around, starving hermisen. He's got the advantage on arm. There's that axe side air, so dangerous. Wow, hermisen just getting through that weapon throw.
Man, they're so careful with these stocks. You would think it was 1-to-1 right now, but these are still their second stocks. They are not giving an inch at this point. hermisen dodging through. He has the lance, getting back, and he gets the tipper. And
pinball.
Oh my gosh, gets the tipper into the pinball bounce, and hermisen is gone. That's a stock. I don't think he was expecting that one to connect either.
No, I mean, that lance recovery, it goes so far if you fully charge it, and hermisen was just hammering on that button.
Well, hermisen in his fresh stock, even though he's down in the stocks, hermisen is still deep in the red, and that gives him, hermisen, the chance to just go all out and try to secure this KO onto hermisen. Be a little bit reckless, you know? That's what you can kind of afford to do with a brand new, fresh stock right out the dealership.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking to make use of it with those down signatures, but, I mean, hermisen just seems to have the spacing. He baits him out by just going into that footsie's range where he wants to enable that down signature, and hermisen just back steps out of it every time. Just searching for some kind of opening.
Oh, and there it is. The spear side air, catching it right on the blade, popping hermisen out of the map, and that is going to be that stock gone. A decent amount of extension, though, from hermisen to get a lot of damage built, and that unarmed play coming out from hermisen as well to keep things going a little bit on the respawn is going to give him a lot of mileage here, a little bit of room to work with.
Ooh, hermisen hunting, trying to... beats out the signature this time. That lance side air moving so far, pushing hermisen into the arch, off the side. hermisen tying up the set.
big stuff. Hermisen taking it down in game number 1, making a strong showing in the beginning. For Mini bringing it back and showing why he is the king of stock extension.
Oh man, just getting a side note here, Boomy and LDZ were fighting each other to get into top 32 in the NA tournament.
And that's a really big game right there. We have, the 2-time world champion going up against one of the best players in all in NA, one of the most consistent finishers in the NA side of things. Just a little, side note interjection there for everyone watching right now to kind of get an idea of what's going on. So big stuff happening over on that side of things. But we got bigger stuff going on right now in the top 8 of the EU side. Hermisen getting this spear, whipping the work, although I guess that's more Diana's thing, to be honest.
Oh yeah, trying to make it work though. This Lance, M4Mini found a bit of an answer against that down signature. The jump side air from the Lance will get him into range and punish it. So Hermisen needs to be careful. He's kind of only using it near the edges where M4Mini's not able to get the right jump height.
Making the approach here onto Hermisen. He swaps to the Katars, though, to make that unarmed approach a little bit more difficult. M4Mini now picking up the axes. I would say his favorite weapon to stick to, his favorite weapon to find KOs with, to build pressure. This is his comfort game right here, playing this axe. In the recovery, coming back on the stage, getting that good damage off onto Hermisen, but Hermisen's still holding on to the damage advantage right now. Yeah, I like that rhyme.
The damage advantage? Yeah. He's got it. He's also got the weapon advantage, just kind of tossing them across the stage. Oh, the snake beating out the spot dodge right off the wedge. Such a massive lead.
That Qatar weapon throw from across the stage, M4Mini was falling down from the island, and that could have damaged. I mean, because of the throw distance it traveled, it actually would have had quite a bit of quite a bit of force behind it because of that distance that it traveled, and that could have been pretty devastating for M4Mini if Hermisen identified that. But it didn't happen. It was just something to note, something kind of interesting that could have happened. But either way, M4Mini trying to make this lance work right now, throws it away for that axe. It's not really working out. Time to switch, he says. And this axe trying to chop down some trees because that Queen Eye, as stubborn as an oak, and it is going to take something like that to cut down the timber. I think that's a good
yeah, she's absolutely. It took 2 of those down signatures, one of them on the top of that island to take her down. A little bit of a damage advantage still Hermisen's way.
Hermisen making his approach, looking for a little bit of unarmed here to get that pushback. Maybe not great for the damage, unless you get some really good reads and strings off, but it does have that pushback. It has that spacing that it can grant whenever you get those connections. This down sig coming out from Hermisen, unsurprisingly, to get that pushback onto M4Mini, get a little bit more spacing out. M4Mini get a little bit more damage in retaliation. That axe builds up really quickly.
Man, but he has quite the mountain to climb. Just about to get KO'd. Hermisen really hunting off the top there. Now he's got the wings to do it.
Well, we know what happens when he gets forced into that last stock. If he does, that is just his final stand, his stock extension.
That's when you flip it into the W for Wumbo and he goes for the clutch reverse 3 stock. I don't know, man. He's on such the back foot right now.
But that's what he was in the first game as well.
You're right. And he did take 2 stocks there. And he only needs 2 stocks right now.
He almost took the win in that game, too. It was extremely close in the end. So who's to say that this won't go the same way? And he's already got 1 stock off of Hermisen. This could go even farther into his favor. But this is game number 3. This is all for every single marble left in this set. And whoever takes those marbles can deposit them for a chance to play in the next set of games against Simple in the semifinals.
Just continue the marathon.
Exactly.
M for marathon. Can he do it? Hermisen deep in the orange. He switched over to the axe.
M for marbles. M for Mini already making that run. And there it is. The start of something new here for M for Mini as he continues this play and just forces Hermisen into his last stock again.
Axe versus spear, trying to find that range. Hermisen really starting to think about it. He was even going for the double chase dodge off of a hit.
To make the approach with the side light to get that combo started. And both players just stacking up on top of each other. Hermisen finding more connections with these hits.
Keeping M4Mini off stage.
This is going to be a very difficult position for Mini to come back from, because normally we see him get a lot of mileage out of these late hits. Oh no, misses the edge!
Just shy of the corner.
That is gonna do it, and Mini cannot get that